Welcome to Transformational Voices. This podcast series brings you wisdom, learning, and insights from the Association of Transformational Leaders, a heart-based community of those who spend their lives contributing to a more awakened world. Welcome and thank you for being here. I'm Sandra Laura Manuela Dikin, and my guest today is a German lady, a transformational leader who sees it as her mission to bring peace and love in companies. Annette Dernick is passionate about bringing more peace to this world and especially to companies. And she's built up experience in different companies and discovered there still is a lot of work to do concerning peaceful and productive communication on the work floor. She loves being a speaker, inspiring companies and leaders to bring more love and peace into their companies, to the benefit of all. And she's an active member of the German Speakers Association and, of course, of our ATL Europe. Annette Dernick, welcome. Welcome to Transformational Voices.
Thank you very much, Sandra, for your warm welcome. I'm very much looking forward to our conversation. And yes, I'm very happy with the introduction. That's exactly what I'm looking forward to and what I want to do.
Me too, Annette. You live in Germany and you're a world transformational leader and you want to bring more love and peace in companies. Now, this is a huge mission. Let's start with why. Why do you want this? Why are you driven by this?
To be honest, it was really that I kind of received this, maybe I can call it like an order. So it came really overnight. So I kind of received this sentence, love and peace in companies. And then I thought, okay. And but on the other hand, I think if I look at my life in hindsight, I would say that I always wanted to live in a peaceful way. And so as to my why is only some years ago, during kind of a pause that I had, I learned that my parents both had, let's say, severe things that they experienced during wartime, and this influenced their life. And I would have never imagined in which aspect this would also influence my life. And so to get kind of the full message, that was now about 3 years ago. So that's not that long. And but I kind of have felt it during my whole life. And so after this, let's say, pause that I had, or now that I'm starting again, I feel much more, obliged isn't the right word, but I really want to bring peace to this world. And while working in different companies, I experienced that if people work together in a more peaceful and appreciative way, then everybody will benefit. And so that's my why. And that's also the reason why I want to bring it to companies. Because in my opinion, many people are kind of pointing to somewhere else and to somebody else and far, far away where there's really war. But what's going on in some companies? In my opinion, we have, let's say, small wars, or maybe conflicts. And for me, many conflicts are kind of the first step in direction of a war. And so when people feel mobbed and not treated very well, in my opinion, that's also, let's say, a kind of war, not really a war. But I think we all know also the wars that are going on between companies when they are kind of fighting for market shares. And I think this is not good for all of us. And I think we all will benefit from a more peaceful atmosphere in companies.
Absolutely. Now let's take it back to where you said just before you received your mission, and you said, like, I was struggling in my own life because I didn't realize that there was so much impact from the past, from the war. In what way, if you would have looked at your life then, or you look at your life now, what shifted? What was the struggle then? And what shifted? How is your life now?
So I think that I struggled with something that, in my opinion, many people struggle with. And that was kind of the topic that I'm not good enough. And as I had the impression that I was never good enough, I was kind of, also kind of fighting as well against many things in my life. And so, for example, my mother always said, life is just a fight.
Wow.
And nowadays, I would say it's more, let's say, like a game, but not in the sense of gambling, but something that should be nice and joyful. And to answer your question fully, so what has changed is that I'm not so much struggling any longer. I have realized that peace starts inside of me. And I know that in a podcast, people can't see me, but I always say that everything starts here. And now I'm pointing to the tip of my nose. And so everything that I can influence is me and my inside. And that's for me, let's say, the greatest, maybe I can call it awakening. And I really would love to support other people that they don't have to look on the outside, but that they always can choose their thoughts, their behavior, their attitude. And it's not that somebody else does something to me, but it's my perception of the world.
Beautiful. Now, I discovered in my own life that, like you say, so Annette, we carry sometimes deeper beliefs from our ancestors, from our mothers, and to shift that belief, for me, it felt in the beginning being very disloyal. It's like I first had to sort of know that I wasn't going to be disloyal to my parents and still live my own life with my beliefs that empowered me. How was that for you?
It's a good question, because when hearing your question, I realized that I've never felt being disloyal to my parents. I really have the impression that my parents didn't know it better. I'm really convinced that my parents always did the best that they knew. And as you already said, it's that they have been influenced by their parents and so on. And so, for example, if you have, I'll just call it kind of a fighting culture in your family, and it's with words and what, other things. And I think that's kind of being transferred from generation to generation. So normally parents do it as they have learned it from their parents. And I have the impression that today we are living in a world, and I'm very grateful for this, where it is not only allowed to kind of reflect these old patterns, but many people are reflecting these patterns. And I think that I'm in a very good position that I can reflect these things now. And so I would say that it's more that I feel I'm kind of, sorry isn't the right word. I feel compassion for my parents, that they didn't have the possibility, the chance, the opportunity to work on these topics. And so maybe that's also part of my why, that as I now know that it's possible to change it, then I want to support everybody who wants to be supported to really change it.
That is so beautiful. And as I hear you, it's really stepping out of that survival modus that our ancestors lived in and so prove of in the outside world, of course, because that's how it works. Now, I'm still curious, why businesses, why companies?
Oh, I've been studying business administration many years ago. And when I had finished school, I was really thinking about what to do. So I'd been thinking about becoming a kind of a lawyer, or at least studying jurisprudence. And I was also always interested in languages. And then I thought, oh, business administration is much better together with languages. And so I've been working in several companies, and during my studies, I've been working on trade fairs as a translator for many companies, for many international companies. And I really realized there that at the end of the day, I was all happy because I had a terrific day and everything went well. Or when there was too much struggle or fight, then I came back and I was kind of being sad and also a bit of angry. And so during the first years of the marriage with the father of my children, when we came home, each of us was kind of for 15, 30 minutes talking about everything that had not gone well in the company. And today I would say that we didn't produce good vibes, but we did it because we thought it was kind of normal. And so that's how I realized that the atmosphere in company, it can be really different. And if we look for another example, if team players, let's say in the sports field, if they have a good atmosphere, then they are really successful. And so I'm convinced, and it's the same with every orchestra. If they really are kind of attuned to each other, then the performance is great and everybody wants to listen. And in my opinion, it's the same with companies. So all the struggle and fighting only leads to unsatisfied customers, to unsatisfied employees. And if I come home and tell the people what a bad company it is I'm working in, then I'm not attracting other employees. But if I really tell all my friends, oh, this company, that's great, and look at the work conditions that we have, then I attract new employees automatically. And at least in Germany nowadays, we have kind of the problem that companies really have difficulties in finding new employees. And so companies can really change, let's say, their way of thinking, feeling, especially treating their employees. They can change this for the better and for the benefit of everybody being involved with the company, not only the employees, but also the customers and the distributors, and yes, everybody who's kind of working with that company.
What could companies already start doing to make it more enjoyable to work?
Yes.
And productive?
Yes, productivity will rise together with this. So I've been working a lot with teams. So I'm a coach and supervisor, and I'm also a freelancer for many years. And so what I've learned with these teams, they kind of, sometimes they really struggle because let's say the CEO or the leader of the company has different opinion than they have. So he or she wants, the leader of the company wants the team to have a great performance. But on the other hand, this leading person in the company doesn't support the team. So what I want to do now is I want to work together with company leaders, because I know that everything really starts within myself. So what I do is talk to the company leaders and talk about their attitude and maybe what they have learned when they were young, and to encourage them to change these beliefs that they have. And so I would say it's important to start with the, let's say, inner work. And it's not only inside. The inside is to be more peaceful and satisfied and loving with myself, because when I love myself, I am much more patient with my employees, my co-workers, the other leaders in the company. And another step is to change the way of communication. So, for example, I don't have the exact translation, but in German we have something, if I translate it word by word, I would call it a you message. So I'll just take you as an example if you agree. And I can say, you didn't send me an email. And maybe you feel a little bit, what's happening now? But when I say instead, I didn't receive an email from you, then I hope that you don't feel any blame that I put on you. And so it's really consisting of different elements. And there's much more in the way of communication that can be done. And it's always, I would say, it can also be easy to start with a way of communicating, because very often things kind of influence each other. So when I'm working with my inner self, my communication is different. When I communicate differently, then my inner perception changes. And it also has to do with the body language. Am I really kind of trying to be, let's say, the strong person who is really capable? And I think you can already hear it from our voice, and now you also saw it while we see each other talking now. And if I'm like this, then it's possible that the others are intimidated. So I can be strong, and I hope that I can deliver this with my voice now. I can be strong without being dominant. And when I'm strong without being dominant, then I'm understanding how others react. And then I'm also a role model for the others to kind of leave behind their self-doubts. And then I, as a leader, can encourage them to be kind of as satisfied as I am as a leader. Because in my opinion, it's so important that every leader, as well as parents, we are role models. And when I'm not satisfied with myself, how can I be satisfied with my employees? And when I'm looking for satisfaction outside of me, then I will always be dependent on how satisfied the other people are. But when I start to be satisfied with me, how I am, with everything that I'm not very fond of, but that's part of me as well. But if I'm satisfied with me, then I can be much more satisfied with others.
And I'm still curious, Annette, if you go to a company, a business, and you say love and peace in companies, aren't people reacting skeptical? I know, for example, my husband, who is in that world, would. So what is the reaction? What is the response?
Oh, yes. Sometimes when I talk about love and peace in companies, people think, and I have to say, in my experience, it's mostly men in my age, so at the end of 50s, beginning of 60s, they think more like spending the lunch break together in, I don't know the English word now, but it was where Harry Potter was lived. It was a small room in the company, being together, two people just in a small, where you put all the cleaning equipment. So men are thinking more of spending the lunch break together, a man and a woman, in this kind of small room.
In a romantic way, Is
yes.
that what they think?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and so they think it's more about kind of bringing romantic love to companies. And when I talk about love, it's really about, let's say, this genuine love for each and everybody. And it's not only the love for a person, but it's the love for nature, the love for life. Many things that we love, but it has nothing to do with spending.
I love this, Annette, because it shows how much your work is needed in the world.
Yes.
Wonderful. Just to end, because I could talk for hours with you, because it's such a huge mission that is needed in the world. one more practical tool that we can already start using as a manager in a company, as a businessman, businesswoman? What can we already do that would make and bring more love and peace in companies?
Yeah, I would like to talk about two things. So the first one is it's a quote of Steve Covey. Maybe you know him, The Habits of Highly Effective People. And he always said, seek first to understand, then to be understood. So in my opinion, it's already a great step to listen and to really listen, and not listening and already being in the mode to kind of prepare my answer, but to really get a feeling what the other person wants to tell me, and to get it not only with my mind, but also with my heart. And the other thing is, it really relates a little bit to this, to treat other people as I want to be treated. Because when I want to be treated, let's say, by my boss or by maybe the company owners, maybe I'm just a CEO and somebody else owns the company, then I want to be treated in a special way. And especially as a leader, I can really show all the employees my appreciation and can treat them as I want to be treated as leaders. And that's the reason why I would love to start with the leaders of a company, because they really, they can make a bigger difference. Everybody can make a difference, but the leaders, in my opinion, can make a bigger difference in being a role model. But it doesn't have to be that I always have to start with the leaders, but I think the impact is much bigger when I work with leaders.
Absolutely. It is so needed, Annette. I appreciate this talk so much. Where can we find you?
Yeah, so there's my website. It's www and then my last name, DERNICK.eu, like Europe. And I think it will be shown also in the show notes.
Absolutely.
And, you can also find me on LinkedIn, Annette Dernick. And there is only one with this name, so you can always reach out to me and connect with me. And via these channels, you can contact me, and then we can have a first talk and just see what I can do, let's say, for you or for the person who is interested. So what I can do, sometimes it's a small hint, as I've just told it. Yeah, now sometimes it's better to have a longer talk, and just reach out to me, and we'll find a way to bring more peace to the world, because I'm convinced if we have more peace in companies, then we will also have more peace in the world. And therefore I see it as work not only for companies, but for all of us to live in a more peaceful surrounding and world.
And more peaceful with Mother Nature. That's what I'm feeling here. Annette Dernick, thank you so much, and good luck with your beautiful mission.
Thank you very much, Sandra. And yes, what you just said with Mother Nature, for me, there's a combination between my attitude. And so, yes, all the work we do, the whole earth should benefit from them. Thank you very, very much, Sandra. It was such a pleasure for me to talk to you. Thank you.
Same. Thank you for listening to Transformational Voices. If you feel anyone can benefit from our podcast series, please share them with the world.